Hey everybody, welcome. We're first going to start with this video.
Every day I try to learn something new. I'm 73. Hey Google, wat wordt het weer?
Op dit moment is het 20 graden en half bewolkt in Amsterdam.
Technology, it's part of my life. Project Silver, they gave a workshop. They teach me how can I use it in my daily things. Hey Google, zet tomaten op mijn lijstje.
1 tomaat.
When you get older, you want to be independent. Everything is changing so fast. If you don't try to keep up a little bit, then you lose contact with the world. Technology can help, but if you don't know it, that's a problem.
Hi,
Anneke,
welkom.
hallo.
Hoi.
Hi. Heel veel dingen vragen. Je moet het gewoon uitproberen.
Ja.
I like teaching people in our community. It's spreading the news.
Wat is auto in het Frans?
Voiture.
Voiture. Ja. It's easy to use it. You don't have to type when you are fingers with arthrose. It's very difficult to type. I can use it for a timer for the medicines. We have lots of people living in Amsterdam alone. I think what Google do now is very important.
If you're hurt and you can't get up or things like that, that you say, hey Google, call somebody.
Hey, kijk,
Hi.
dat is leuk, ja. Speel het liedje Leef nog eens af.
My kind of living is keep going on, keep doing activities, do things that you like, and carpe diem. Pluk de dag in het Dutch.
So welcome to the presentation about Project Silver, Elderly in Voice, a Natural Opportunity, and how we gave away 10,000 smart speakers with COVID-19. So I'm Maarten Lens-FitzGerald. I'm a voice evangelist and founder of Project Silver. I create a lot of media, I run a lot of events, but my favorite project is Project Silver with a Z because, hey, we got the .com, and that's how you spell it in Holland, which is where we founded it. So first, before I start, let me share with you the largest and I think maybe even the most impactful lesson that I got. And that is the bias that we have towards older adults. Just by saying elderly, and I deliberately kept it in the title so people would understand what it is, it has such a, it's such a heavy term for lots of people. You think sick, you think not able, almost disabled. Yet when you say older adults, it has such a different viewpoint and looks to the positive. And just Google the two names or the two words and you'll see the difference. Thank you to Heidi Culbertson who taught me this. I keep saying older adults as much as I can. Occasionally I slip, but it is older adults instead of elderly because that's when you talk about the strength of people and groups. And that's what this is also all about. So almost 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago now, I got into voice and I kind of saw an angle with what voice could do for elderly. And when I started looking into that, I started looking into what is really, what's happening? Because what if that speaker could also help elderly or older adults that fall, for instance? Because every 19 minutes, somebody falls who's over 60, and that results in almost 30,000 deaths in the US alone every year. So what if there's a speaker there at home where when that person is down, they can call help with, and not that stigmatizing alarm button that you pay a lot of money for. No, that speaker that you pay 30 euros for or $30 for on sale. That is something that really got me going. And thinking about voice, it was really clear to me that in this group of older adults, voice leaps them back into the game because swiping and pinching and opening up hamburger menus and figuring out all these smart yet complicated UIs. Well, the voice UI is, of course, the most natural interface that we've been using for the last 50,000 years. So, yeah, this is something that could be potentially very powerful. So, to get this going, I started talking to Google, as well as the Dutch ARP called the ANBO, large insurer, and as well as the government bank, who was also very interested in the subject because they focus, or they distribute the pension to almost all the elderly. Period. So we formed a consortium. Now, looking back, I think I kind of used the Theory U approach, if you're familiar with that, which basically, yeah, we really were able to talk from our hearts and start working from our hearts to be emergence and purpose-driven. And from there, we found our shared purpose, which is to explore how older adults can benefit from voice technology. So we added Google because there's no Alexa in Holland, which is, I think, important to say. And with these, participants, there were some on and off other ones. We started doing workshops to get to the shared purpose and to determine what should we do? What is our action? Personally, I wanted to create a service right away, something that would help them, a voice app one way or the other. But all of the participants say, no, let's see first if this is something that is relevant to do, if the older adults are interested in voice, and what they would want. So with this first action, we created the first research. We conducted this in 2018 and 2019, which on the one hand was quantitative and the other hand was qualitative. The quantitative one was almost 3,500 older adults that we reached. It was online, so there's a little bit of bias, of course. But we do think that this may have been the largest group that was ever researched in this age group. And what we learned from the quantitative research, the learning was that almost 75% has a smartphone, almost 70% uses smart tech in the home, mostly smart meters, smart TVs, and to a lesser extent, Chromecasts and smart thermostats and music systems. But what I found, or what we found most interesting, is that 22% already controlled devices using their voice. So they had talked already to things, which we thought was amazing because our initial idea was maybe this is something very new. Well, it isn't. 1 in 5 already did it. And a lot of positive feedback also came back. So they imagined the use for voice in planning routes, looking information, alarms, reminders, basically anything you can come up with. So a very good quantitative return, again, with the 1 in 5 already talking to devices. Then we did the quantitative research, which was also very fun. And from the get-go, it was valuable. We did we had, from that group that we initially surveyed, we had 266 applications, people who wanted to join. 14 people were selected, and for 2 weeks we followed them using a diary they kept themselves. We gave them a speaker, and we did various open interviews to understand what they were doing. And that's where we got a lot of information. Here's a picture of the group unpacking their devices for the first time, and maybe fun to note is that it is very important that when you install these devices, you don't do it all at once. Because, then you don't know which speaker is which when you install it. It is, of course, set up to install one at a time, not 14 at once. So the learnings here in short were, they see potential for smart speakers for their own users as well as the others. As in others that it's very altruistic maybe in a way, but they right away saw for their own age group that it was very useful as a group. And also just the idea of convenience was also a big driver. And not just and what we also found is that they like the device for itself, but they also were very keen to use it in conjunction with other devices such as TVs, lights, and plugs. Although they wondered a lot, of course, about privacy, always a very big point. But like Han wrote, who's 81, Google Home has changed my life. I have a bigger sense of security, being able to call my children when I fall. Well, this is, of course, the core why we do this. And just the answer also that we got. So why do you want to do this? Well, to be as independent as long as possible. This really goes to the core of Project Silver and what we are enabling. And just, I didn't really say that earlier, but Project Silver, there's no profit involved here. This is only cost that each member puts in themselves, and which enables us to do what we do. So using all this data, we created basically our own charter for Project Silver. Oh. But before I go into that, yeah, let's see some learnings also about the smart speakers. Over 66% of the group was positive about usage, positive about sound quality, news, weather, remembering things, find information, shop in shopping lists. They like the personality, just hearing it say good morning. All these basic things were very good. They did want some more improvement in the speech understanding, and they found the feature set, yeah, less than desirable sometimes. They want to do more. And in Holland, you can't call somebody, so they really want that. Right now, it's slowly being rolled out. Another request were also actually logical, is that it'll talk slower, that you add bus times, and you have to say Google in this case less often. That was also very annoying for them. And if you look at the onboarding, specifically, we had a lot of lessons from them. Like a harsh one was that people who would benefit most will have the hardest time setting this up. So it's not always easy. If you look at the carton, and yeah, it's not that intuitive. And also, how does it work with Spotify? Will it cost me money? Is it necessary that it first learns my voice, or will it work from the get-go? That's, yeah, a few of the lessons. And one of the other things is that they said themselves is let them help each other. Let older adults help each other. So with this, we created our own charter, as I said. And they come down to these points of action, onboarding. So what Project Silver wants is it enables projects in each of these categories that we formulated based on the research. So we have onboarding, increase older adult users and usage. Access, make information and services accessible. And again, maybe, because probably it already is accessible, not now though. Care, open up and ease care and the emergency channel, because once that speaker is in the house, you can do lots of things, especially in an emergency situation. Convenience, just make those daily things easy. Social, enable companionship. That was a big return or feedback that we also had, is that it really helped them feel less lonely. And offer play and grow joy in the category of entertainment. So this is what we're really trying to focus on right now. And the following projects have been initiated with Project Silver. So with onboarding, we did the 10K giveaway in COVID-19. I'll get back to that in a moment. We published an installation guide so people can install the smart speaker with help. We got a tip guide, so you have specific content tips that people can try and do, which they may like. And we've trained the help desk of not just the Dutch older adult organizations, also the Danish one, because we're also starting there. So this is all we did with onboarding. In the inclusion one, we looked, or the SVB, the Dutch government bank, did research in how to make a voice version of the government pension information, which was really interesting because they proved that it was not relevant to go to voice right away as an app, but it's more important to make sure that on the right pages they have snippets and basically update their voice search stuff. Very good. We, of course, published the research that I just went through. You can read yourself and download the PDF at www.projectsilver.com. we are about to publish a publisher's playbook. So say your company is ready to go to voice and your user group are older adults. Well, we have guides, we have tips to make sure you do that right from the start. About to go live. And next on our what we're working on is that we're creating an older adult smart speaker stock photo set, because there's nothing out there. And just the idea of empowerment, and not just care context, but powerful in pictures with smart speakers. Yeah, you'll be able to get them for free at projectsilver.com very soon. Our care category is still open. Same goes for convenience and social. Although specifically since our large 10K giveaway, a lot of existing companies have contacted us. So we're exploring how we can cooperate. And we have one project in development, which is really cool, which is an historic media game. So please tell me the news from a certain year, and specific media sound bites that people might like from that era. So that is currently in development. But this is just an example of all the projects that we are doing to make sure that older adults basically can benefit from voice and have a better life. So the 10K giveaway. So with COVID-19, of course, the older adults were really hard hit because social interaction for them is very important. And within the first 2 weeks, we really had an idea like, hey, we have a platform here with Project Silver. We have these smart speakers, which we proved really gives them less sense of loneliness. So what if we can give them away? Because there's enough out there that we can do this. And yeah, let's just get this going. So we convened together, of course, online in an online meeting. And within 1 month, we were actually being able to go from idea to execution, thanks to Google and all the other partners. And of course, the Dutch AARP was the channel. And the key thing, and actually they came out with it, the ONBO, is that we don't just give them away to anybody who asks for it. No, we aim the campaign to people who already have a smart speaker and ask them like, hey, why don't you give one to your dad, who might be over 60, or to your neighbor or whoever. As long as it's an older adult, you can get one for them, and then you help them install it. So my personal take was, hey, at least for 2 hours, you'll have a deep interaction with your older adult friend or family member, and therefore alleviate a little bit of the social situation that you have. Well, in short, they were gone in 3 days. In 3 days, over 10K people or 10,000 speakers were registered, or people ordered the code, and they could order one, et cetera, et cetera. So that was amazing, because almost half of that time, the servers were down because we were so overwhelmed. So lots of people really were ready to try this, to explore this. So this just happened less than a month ago. So we're about to start up with the follow-up and do the research. What are they doing it? But we are having lots of one-on-one feedback already, where people are saying that they like it. They are so happy with it, that they like that it calls them by name in the morning when you say good morning to it, et cetera, et cetera. So that is already a very positive thing. And it's so good to do something good. What was also interesting is was that the media wasn't really interested in this news. So we had a press release, but only one outlet here in Holland really took it up. The other was also really interesting to research and to discuss. But it is possible to do that 10K. I mean, we're really proud that Google was able to jump in like that. I believe that this project was one of 11 globally that got approved to do this. And this was based on the research. And I think this is very important if you do anything yourself, is always base yourself on research, because it gives you a solid ground, especially if you're working in these future-driven businesses like this is. Because you need to have data that really shows you the way. So coming here to my end, my personal take is, apart from all the lessons that we get ourselves, like older adults and the bias that we feel, as well as how logical and natural of a fit it is. Now, there's a flywheel effect that I really see happening. So first off, you have the older adults who get a richer and more independent life using voice. You have the platforms who grow usage, grow platform benefit, and of course add positive PR and framing. And then there's the businesses that unlock dormant and inactive customer groups and therefore also grow their business. And this flywheel effect is, I think, at the core of what Project Silver can mean and what it is meaning right now, and where we welcome anybody to join in, create with our help your local version. We're actively now seeking partners in the US, and we're ready to move this forward. So I invite everybody to check the research report and the playbook in July at www.projectsilver.com. And let us know who should be a founding member, or maybe you should if you want to get involved yourself. And just so lastly, we are involved, or I'm involved with RoboCopy. They do, they train and accredit inclusive conversation designers. So if you use the code Project Silver, you get a 30% discount. So I think with that, I showed you what Project Silver is, how we started, what the research resulted in, as well as how we gave away 10,000 speakers and what you can do. So with that, I'd like to thank you, and I hope you liked it, and I hope to see you soon. Contact me at Dutch Cowboy on Twitter, or find the contact information on projectsilver.com. Let me do a big screen here so you can see me for real. Because, hey, there I am. So again, I'm Maarten Lens-FitzGerald, an evangelist in voice, executive consultant. I help lots of companies get on board of this truly amazing channel. I'm an author of the book Voice, and in short, I instigate movements that shape the future. Find everything about me at www.lensfitzgerald.com. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon in real life. Okay, bye-bye.